Chicago, Illinois. Tommy Lee here. Tuesdays with Gordon. I am talking with Gordon Tan, former executive, current coach in Singapore. Gordon, good morning.
Good evening to you, Tommy. And I must say you're kind of a little lightly dressed for approaching winter, right?
Oh, Gordon, it's rainy. It's 16 degrees. Tomorrow is going to be 13 degrees. It is freezing out there today in Chicago.
Okay, so you got your heater cranked up then.
That and also I have a vest that I wear outside that allows you to press a button. It's a heater vest.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool.
Yes. Hey, what's the weather like in Singapore?
Oh, it's nice and well, it's actually very nice and cool now. Cool is nothing close to where you are.
Oh my god. I'm
It's
telling
probably
you.
warm for you.
Hey, random question. Does Singapore have snow? Do you guys have snow
No
here
way.
much?
No way. We don't even drop below what's that now? 20 degrees C,
Yeah.
which would probably translate to, I don't know, 60,
So
65.
in all your life, you've never seen snow in Singapore. You've probably seen snow other places, but never in Singapore?
Never in Singapore. Not even a trace of it. Maybe you
Wow.
might get hailstones,
Yeah.
kind of freak incidences.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow's supposed to be very windy and a little flurry here and there at 13 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right. Ah, okay. That's nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
if you ever decide to visit me, don't come in January to April, all right? Come in
Uh,
May on.
I'll be looking forward to maybe seeing where you are, Chicago, in autumn, perhaps. I love autumn colors.
Well, today we're going to talk about our topic with so many people quitting, don't overlook those who stay. And I'm not sure about the situation in Singapore. In the US, every time I go somewhere, whether it's a restaurant and everything, I see help wanted. I see people always recruiting people. Man, there's a lot of people leaving, but at the same time, in the midst of trying to keep people from leaving, do not ignore, do not fail to care for those who are staying. And that's the topic of our conversation today.
Yes, yes. And I think it's a most appropriate topic. Very, very timely, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of usually for those who are new, Gordon and I would take an article, and then from that point on, we find the time every single week, like today, to discuss it. And so this article begins is HR and managers busy themselves in hiring. It is more important than ever to also consider those who have stayed, employees who have fought alongside each other to keep the organization alive. It talks about 4 steps leaders can take to best navigate the challenge with dealing on multiple fronts. So, Gordon, one of the first ones that talk about is be aware of your impact. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. I'll just give a simple example from Singapore. We've had COVID for like 18 months, maybe 2 years almost. And at the beginning of COVID, people were kind of sent back, we're shutting down. And because they're shutting down, so maybe 20% leave, and so on and so forth. And by the time we got to the point where hotels are struggling, F&Bs are struggling, they start cutting pay. And then we in Singapore get lots of foreign workers. And so they can't afford staying in Singapore anymore. So they leave for their homes, or they're homesick, they're tired. And you know what? This is a time when it's very difficult. So when we start talking about hiring again, the ones that are staying, I'm going like, okay, what's going to happen to me
Yeah,
now?
yeah. And wouldn't you say a lot of times, even those who are saying, focus on, beware of your impact, also your words. In, let's say, for instance, in light of COVID time, you've had to cut salaries, you have had to furlough people, people are coming and going. As the leader, you continue to be the model of inspiration. As the leader,
Ex-
I'm not saying fake it. As the leader, be open, be honest, be vulnerable, share with the group of why you're worried, but they still need to draw strength from you. They still need to come in and look to you for guidance. You don't want to be the guy that complains all the time. You don't want to be the guy who sits there and is negative and is always talking bad about the situation. Your goal is to inspire your team.
Yes. So a very typical example, and I like to take the hotel industry as a very good example. in the industry, and she faces lots of challenges because she's the manager of rooms. She can't get enough chambermaids. She can't get enough front desk people, and she has to double up. And what does she say to the people who are busily trying to keep the operations alive? And so what she says to the people that are existing, that are working alongside her, is very important. I mean, you
Yes.
cannot tell them that, oh, suck it up, and just
Yeah.
continue.
Yep. Or a lot of times it's probably even for that particular person, right, Gordon? Your best thing is not even to tell them, hey, things are going to be okay. Well, it probably won't be okay. Your thing is, look, you and I are in it together. Let's figure out a way for us to figure out how we could streamline, how we could support you, all of that. It makes a big difference from your employee if they know that your leader resonates with you, understands the situation, and proactively making sure that they're caring for you versus, hey, look, you're going to have to do this job because I pay you. And I know you don't like it, but tough luck.
Yeah. And so projecting a profile of wanting to be seeing this as an opportunity rather than a crisis is going to be very important. And it's not easy doing that because you know what, you yourself are not sure if things are going to
Yeah.
go much better. So it is really trying to get around, and thinking positive is really important at this stage.
Well, which leads us to the second one, focus on potential and possibilities. As the leader, you got to think outside the box. As the team leader, you got to sit there and look at what those possibilities are. And that means a lot of times, if you don't know the answer, it's okay because sometimes you're going to face with situations you've never dealt with before. Ask
Yep.
your employees, ask your team members, ask those who work for you what their functions are. Create the ownership. Be willing to admit that I don't know the answers and work with them on it.
Exactly. No, and it's so easy to kind of like go like, okay, we're just going through this and we're gonna just power through. But that's not what people feel already. You've got 18 months of powering through.
Yeah.
and so I think you need to kind of draw create some, or let create's not the right word, to help them visualize some
Yeah.
positive outcomes, something that they can make them feel better about what the current situation is. I mean, take for example, it looks like we're going to open up soon, and hopefully we can get more colleagues to help, more hands on hand to help them back, something like that.
Topic today was so many people quitting. Don't overlook those who stay. Tuesdays with Gordon Tan, former executive and current coach over in Singapore. Our third one is make it okay to leave. Talk to me about that one, Gordon.
Yeah, so I think there will still be people who want to leave because prospects are better, things are getting better at home or something like that, and they need to go home. And so I think the common reaction of managers and employers is to suddenly distrust those who are leavers, see them as betrayers, see them as people who are quitting. And I think this article makes the right point. We shouldn't do that because people are watching what you do with quitters. People are watching what you do and how you approach your attitude, whether it changes when they see that someone has decided to leave the company. And I think maybe a better conversation is one of saying thank you.
Yeah. When the article writes in far too many companies, when an employee gives notice, the reaction is similar to an emotional breakup. You've been left and you feel rejected. This triggers some not great behavior, like tendency to make the person leaving wrong and doubt their trustworthiness or integrity. Look, there are some people who you feel like as a leader, you've done your best to invest in, and they'll leave for better opportunities. The easiest thing is to take it personally, right, Gordon?
Yep.
But our job is to be professionals, and you have to not badmouth them on the way out, but continue to be professional in everything that you do. And one of those is continue to treat others as if you want them to be treated, you want yourself to be treated.
Yeah, no, so, and I really like the article that says that I'll go and read it out. An alternative approach is to transition with gratitude.
Yeah.
Just talk about how they've contributed how hopefully they've learned new things. And, they're not the same person when they join as it is when they're leaving. And so rather than viewing the resignation as a rejection of the relationship, what could be a better possibility is to view it as an inflection point. And I love that word in this article, inflection point in its evolution. So suggested that we end this phase of our time together with appreciation. So I think that's such a positive note to end it.
Gordon, I will tell you this story. I mean, I worked in the telecom industry for a number of years, and I had a boss by the name of Mark. And when it was time for me to go and transition from the telecom industry to a different industry that I was working with, Mark was nice enough to gather all the employees for my final day and to wish me a goodbye. I will never forget that, Mark. I mean, I will never forget what he did, Gordon. It still stays with me. And to this day, it's been 12 years, 10 years now. We still maintain a very, very good friendship.
Yes, likewise, I have a very similar experience. And so I think encouraging people on, seeing it as they're moving on to the better place. And maybe perhaps, who knows, in the future that our paths may cross again.
Yeah.
So it's better to leave on a nice, sweet note than on a sour one.
Oh my gosh. Third one, re-recruit them. What does that mean to you?
These are for, I think that really means something like, if for those, whether they're going to be stayers or whether they're going to be recruiting someone, I think you need to have that same attitude. For people who have left and want to join back, of course you're happy because you kind of like gain someone. But for those who have stayed, hey, don't you deserve something of a recognition too for staying? For being by your side?
And wouldn't you say a lot of times, Gordon, is you're constantly getting to know that person. You're constantly sitting there, hey, what is it that you want to achieve? How can I help you as your boss? What are your goals? What can I do? You're always recruiting them. You're helping them to really be able to understand what makes them tick and how you could serve them well.
Yes, I remember that when I was trying to expand my team and I was recruiting like double the number of people, it's as many as I had existing. One of the feelings of those who are existing was going like, am I going to get treated better or are those people going to get treated better? Why is it they get privilege and I don't? And I think that's really a sense of what the second point is, re-engaging, right? Re-engaging them.
The other one, a couple more, is reward them. And Gordon, when I say reward them, it is not rewarding them with more money. Talk to me about rewarding them.
Yeah. So as I was saying that, engaging them, treating them fairly as you would treat someone who's senior versus someone who's new, but also having this ability to say, okay, I recognize you for your loyalty. I recognize you for the amount of work I recognize you for the fact that you can do things without being taught.
Yeah. And wouldn't you say a lot of times a simple thing, if you're listening to this, as a leader, make it a simple practice that always pay attention to what your team members are doing. And it's not the scheduled time, oh, I got to say something nice about Gordon, or a lot of times say something spontaneously. In the midst of doing this after, let's say, for instance, after we're done recording, I said, Gordon, I just wanted to let you know, thank you very much for always being so prepared and always being so easy to work with. Something simple like that makes it really, a simple word like that shows people what that reward is and how much you appreciate them.
Yes, and I think it begins with this heart of gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Being able to see the goodness in other people, being able to see what's good that's happening.
Yeah, and the last one is engaging them. You have to engage people, right? And as a leader, if you've gotten to a point where you are, your job is to continue to motivate your team, reward your team, encourage your team, and that means you have to engage them along the way.
No. So this article is really timely. Thank you, Tommy, for highlighting it. I think it's a great article.
Tuesdays with Gordon, with so many people quitting, don't overlook that. Overlook those who stay. So, Gordon, hey, what's your plan for the rest of the week here, Gordon?
I hope to play around the golf, go some riding somewhere. Singapore's not a big place, but there's places I haven't been to.
Very good, my friend. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Talk to you.